let's discuss Fulham and what seems to be a recurring dream about Everton. It's either good or it's bad, and
The positive to take from it rather than look at it as a negative is at least we are still fighting in the 90 plus minute. Everton are still fighting. They are still looking to score goals. We've not rolled over and having our bellies tickled like we've had against some other previous managers. A couple of seasons back, if we'd have gone 1-0 down away at Fulham, that'd have been it. It'd have been a goal fest for them. Because Everton wouldn't have done anything, but we didn't. We fought back, and not just against Fulham, against lots of the teams. Even when we've been at home, okay, the results haven't been great, but even then at home, we're not giving up. Yes, okay, we're getting beat, but we're not giving up. We're still trying to press. We're still trying to find that equaliser or try and find that winner. Moyes is happy to make changes as and when he feels he needs to. It's been difficult for him because he's not had the full squad. Apart from Jack Grealish, we have got a full squad going forward now at the moment. Okay, there's a couple that in his interview this afternoon he said he was nursing back. KDH and Branthwaite, but at least they're going to be available for selection and will be selected. Let's be honest, they're going to be selected. Let's take a positive from it. Yes, okay, we might be getting pummeled first half, but at least in the second half we've not given up and we are still fighting and looking for the equalisers or even going on to get the winner.
that's only my worry really. We hung on against Fulham because they could have been 2 or 3 up, but then when you play a better team, likes of Spurs being the case in point really, when they went 3-0 up against us, and then Newcastle smashed us, and then Brentford smashed us. So that's the only worry. If we play like that against a better team who have got a better, I mean, I would say Fulham have got a good forward line, but Brentford just tore us to shreds. And so did Spurs. That's the only worry moving forward. If we keep playing like that, we'll get picked apart by better teams. But yeah, it's good to see. We've done it against Palace, 1-0 down, come back 2-1. We're away there against Fulham, 1-0 down, come back and win 2-1. So that's the positive.
Some of those teams you just mentioned, though, with the squad wasn't there from when we played those teams. We would, I don't think we had a full bench, and if we did, we pulled a load of the under-21s and just to give them some changing room experience. They're never going to get on the pitch.
I think we need to stay on that positive trend, don't we, in terms of how we as fans talk about it as well. I've had a few debates over the last few days about allowing fans to have an opinion, because it is still split over Moyes. Fans aren't happy with the style of football at times, and it is, as you mentioned, that Jekyll and Hyde. And it's fine. It's fine to have that. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I think I mentioned it a couple of episodes ago that no team in the league, other than maybe Arsenal, even Villa are starting to slip up at home now. I think they've had back-to-back defeats at home for the first time in a long, long time. Obviously, us and Brentford were down to 10 men, like us at Man United. It's one of those really weird seasons where anyone could beat anyone on the day, minus Wolves. Unfortunately, they've had an absolute shocker. But even Burnley as well, them two have been long gone, really, unfortunately for them too, because I kind of like the managers that seem good young English managers who do well in the lower divisions and bring up a team and then never really get supported financially. But even West Ham, who would have thought 4 or 5 weeks ago they had a shout? They were getting absolutely pummeled by everyone, home and away. Got knocked out of the cup as well, or nearly got knocked out of the cup, I think. And what a mad few weeks it's been in the Prem, and Leeds as well. Fair play to them, coming good. So we as Evertonians, we said this a few weeks back about how we're so negative, and we really are, especially at home. And I get it, I do get it. And I think some people think I'm anti-Moyes. I'm certainly not. I've got so much respect for the guy as a manager, as a person, the way he speaks. He's matured himself, not just in age, but how he actually speaks to the media. It's so open, so honest, it's so clear. There's no BS from him whatsoever. There really isn't. Even the little things of pulling out the Arsenal stuff the other week about how, 6, 7 players ran onto the pitch. They were already 3-2 up from the first leg. They were going through anyway. And they only score a last-minute goal. And they're in the final. Happy days. You should celebrate it. It's football. We should be able to celebrate, players, fans, managers alike. Moyes literally danced on the pitch a little bit and I didn't even realise that it was going to be a touchline ban. I just thought it was a yellow card, but he's clearly had a couple. I didn't even click onto that. So when I started watching the game against Fulham, I was thinking, why is he in the stands for? But maybe it worked out because he saw the football in the first half, as it has been Jekyll and Hyde, and he could actually react, and he did. He changed a few things, he altered it, and it worked. So you know he knows his shit. But he knows his stuff. He's been around the game for God since he was, what was it, 12 or 11 or 12 or something daft, where he in the Highlands, coaching with his dad. He was captain at a young age. The guy's a football man, and he always will be. Um, Funny enough, kind of off topic, but Moyes related. I met a Dunfermline fan the other day, 50-odd-year-old man, and he was just raving about Moyes. He went on loan there, I think, or he was playing up in that division, and he absolutely loved to get stuck in. And it kind of just made me think of that's why he likes Tarky, that's why he likes Michael Keane, old-fashioned defenders who get stuck in. Keane gets stuck in as well. Bit more of maybe a technical ability over Tarky at times with his passing, but Moyes still wants that really fine balance of proper footballers mixed with a little bit of spice. We've always had it. We've always had it with Arteta's, your Osmonds, your Pinos, your Morales, all them were all the spicy flavour that we want to have with Tyrique George, Dibbling, Grealish, and so on. But you've got to have the balance. You've got to have the biters. Garner loves to tackle, loves to get stuck in. Garner Gay the same. Keenan Dewsbury Hall as well. He gives as good as he gets. He's still finding that. He's only been back a year and a bit. You know what I mean? So it's not that he's turning me because I just didn't think it was right for him to come back for long term. I don't think it is long term, but he has got to set the fundamentals, get the basics in, and he will do it. He just needs time. And I think we've got to be very careful what we wish for because Rich said at the start then, get Champions League. Who knows? It was asked to him today. Julia Bold asked him and you could see him, little smirk. You could see he's like, yeah, there is similarities. We're holding on. We're getting points. We're winning games. But it could all be thrown back in our face in 6, 7, 8 months' time, and we'll sit here going, sugar, we should have took it one step at a time. Look at
Exactly.
Palace. Look at Palace. Look at Newcastle now. Do you know what I mean? Let's take a bit of a pinch of salt and have a little bit of a.
That's what my post alluded to the other week, that we've got to be patient and we can ride that wave when we're doing really well and expectations seem to go through the roof. And you're like, well, we could do that. We could look at the point 22, but realism's got to hit home because we haven't got the squad for it. You can't go from relegation fighting team to Champions League football or European football. You can, theoretically, you can do it, but physically, that means in the summer we'd have to have a war chest to supply David Moyes with a squad that compete on all fronts. Because then our expectations of fans go up here, and we're thinking, right, we're going to do this. We're going to no, baby steps. Let's not go and do a Leicester where everything falls apart. Yeah, the owner had something to do with that when he sadly passed away. But again, you look through history, teams that have gone too fast, go back to Blackburn when they had loads of money pumped into them, bought Alan Shearer, SOS, Sutton and Shearer, went and won the Premier League, and look where they are now. Same with Leicester. You can't, like you said, Newcastle, they're restricted. They're restricted now, and their chief executive was on Talksport the other day discussing what he wanted for the next 5 years. They want to be winning the Premier League and Champions League in 5 years. That is nowhere near sustainable because they're not going to keep up with Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal and teams like that, because Arsenal have taken years to get where they are now. City had an influx of money at the right time and built it up. Man United built it up for years. So we need to be realistic. Let's have mid-table security this season and push on next season. That's what I would do personally. I still think that's what if we can get Europe, great, but then he needs money to invest, and that's where the wage cap comes in for next year, doesn't it? So that's going to be either good or bad, whichever way you look at it.
I think there was a piece done by the Echo lad. I can't remember his name. Is it Thomas? Something Tom. I can't remember. Simon Tom. I can't remember his name now. But he mentioned he gets details through direct from the club. I think Moyes wants Conference League. I think he really wants to sneak in the Conference League. I think he sees, even though Palace didn't spend big in the summer, they brought in Pino. All right, they lost Eze, of course, and they lost some big players and lost Gay, but they have brought in some good players. They're a good recruiting team there as well, likes of Brighton, Bournemouth, and all the rest. Brentford, they're all got good recruiting teams now. So it's fine margins, and the fine margin could be European football because it attracts a player who wants to come from another team who's playing Europe in, the lesser leagues, if you like, across Europe. So I do think if it's there, and it is, we're currently 8th, right? and we win against Bournemouth, and we win a couple of games going forward, we cement our place realistically, given how things are going, right on the coattails of those chasing the Champions League. I mean, we're not getting mentioned in the Champions League run, but Liverpool are literally just above us, and they are. That's a hypocrite, really, because I've just said the opposite of that. But if we can get a Champions League or a European place, you're not going to say no to it. But you're right. It's then having it all set up and ready to go. But they have said that this summer's going to be a big change no matter what. So, I mean,
The fact
it's
the fact we're talking about this, the fact we're talking about European Champions League, that it's a massive, it's night and day from this time last year or under Dyche. We're trying to save ourselves from relegation and points deduction, and one man's come in, the new ownership's coming, and they've been really quiet, which I love because that means they're doing things right. If there's loads of noise and talk, there's something wrong. Either it's really, really good or it's really, really bad. And a lot of people said in the past, there's an old saying in there, owners shouldn't really speak up until it's necessary, and they've not said anything. And we've been out there a bit more with social media and the director of football coming out and Moyes being a lot more open, which is great. I think that's the sign of the times, really, with the way we are. But the fact that we're having this conversation now, the three of us sat down discussing about Everton possibly getting Champions League or being there or thereabouts for any European competition, that's where we're at now, which is great to see. But I'd always say proceed with caution because you never know what could happen. It could all fall apart, like you said. What are your thoughts, Rich?
Back end of last season, we sat down on the podcast and we said, what's key for Everton going forward? One word to describe Everton being key going forward, and I said stabilisation. And I still think that is key for us. This season and next season, we need to be stabilised as a club, as a football team, whether it be on the playing on the pitch or whether it be as a company. Let's be honest, all Premiership companies are companies, all Premiership teams are companies nowadays. We need both of those to be stabilised. We can't keep doing what we've previously been doing, where 2 games to go and we're sat there praying that other teams slip up or coming down to the last game of the season, and coming in by winning by 1 goal to stay in the. We can't be doing that. So we need to stabilise the club now. We're starting to do that. We've brought some really, really good players in, and good players will attract other good players. And when you've got a team of really, really good players, you become stabilised as a footballing team. Also, what happens is your existing players step up. They think, well, actually, I've got to compete with these guys, so therefore I need to raise my game. I think for me, the 3 that have really, really stepped up this season, I'm not saying they've had previously bad seasons, but certainly the 3 that have stepped up this season is Michael Keane, where he was last season. He's been absolutely phenomenal. James Garner's kicked on, and Ndiaye. James Garner and Ndiaye, I'm not saying they had poor seasons, but I just think their season, the season they've had so far this season has kicked on. And I'm convinced that's because of the players they've had around them. We're not going to get relegated this season, no. We're not. We're in February and we can already scratch that one off. We can already start looking at 26, 27 Premiership football.
Here comes 10 defeats on the bounce.
No, I'm telling you. I'm convinced of it. But previous seasons, we wouldn't have been able to have that. We would not have been able to say that at all. And as we just touched on from the new owners, the money that they've invested into us, even what they've done with the women's team and, keeping Goodison Park on and things like that shows that they are with the club long time. They're not just seeing it as a flash in the pan, put this money and get it out 2 seasons' time. They're clearly not looking to do that. The other good one to mention, I don't think we've mentioned it so far, is the players that we've currently got in the squad that we're putting on long-term contracts and that want to be part of us. Previous seasons, I bet they wouldn't have wanted that. They'd have been saying to their agents, actually, time to go.
Make of Tyrique George coming in then, because he's a young English talent that we've got him on a loan with an option to buy. And I think it's a really good, smart bit of business for Everton, especially with Jack being out. another option. And I've always been crying out for pace on the wings. You need pace to win football games, and having him on one wing and Dyer on the other, and having Kieran Dewsbury Hall just behind the strikers. It's great to see. What are your thoughts, Liam and Rich, on Tyrique George?
For me, it means we can bring pace on to replace pace. And previously, we've not been able to do that. And if you've got, I don't know, Jack Grealish, who's been causing them problems for 70 minutes, you then bring a young 21-year-old on. Their defence isn't going to be looking forward to that substitution, are they?
And that's how every other team does it, isn't it? And the best teams, it is. City, Arsenal. Martinelli at Arsenal's a prime example, probably. I can't remember what Arteta said now. A finisher or something, didn't he? Or he come up with a term that basically he is the finisher. So teams are on the edge, they're hanging out, they've got no energy left, and the last thing you want at Kieran Trippier at 35 or something is Martinelli running at you with 10 minutes to go and you're 0-0 or you're 1-0 up. I think we've seen that the other day. I think the subs changed the game. George was nice, easy on the eye, didn't like do anything, crazy or out of order. You can see he's got some quality because he's watching the game that's happening in front of him and actually seeing it go by rather than aimlessly just running at defenders. He's waiting, he's biding his time. And don't forget, Moyes made a point that he was actually quite experienced. He's won a couple of trophies at Chelsea. All right, he's not a starter by any means, but they've got a pretty good squad. To even be in within a shout to get in and around that squad, considering the amount of quality they've got on both wings and up top, it was pretty impressive. So we clearly got something about him. Maresca really rated him. I know he was close to joining Fulham. I think it was last summer or the summer just gone, sorry. But obviously it fell through. And it's a positive step because you've now got two young lads on either wing and he can play across the front three. He can play down the middle as well. And Moyes made a point of saying that. So I think, again, it's just egging on the strikers we've got just to, look behind you because there's still people pushing you. And that's what we need. We need competition for places. And I think he'll be a very, very good signing